Hi, everybody. Dan Sixsmith here, host of Sales is King, the new podcast that's taking the world by storm. Just joking. We're getting a decent following, but love to have more of you guys listen. Um, we tackle each and every episode some interesting new element of what it takes to be a successful salesperson today in a rapidly changing digital landscape. Um, Typically, it's me ranting for 5 to 10 minutes, but we've also got some great interviews. We did one with Matt Hines of the Hines Marketing Group, and I'm going to refer to that interview in a few minutes. We have a couple of very exciting ones coming up next week, and I'm doing two of them. I'm going to keep you in suspense on it, but be on the lookout. So the two latest episodes are quite interesting. The first one we did is called the New Sales Checklist. So it's a group of key items that need to be on your hit list if you're going to make it today as a successful salesperson in the digital world. And then the second one is we talked about an essential new skill that salespeople need to make sure they have mastered today. So let's talk about the checklist real quickly. Definitely go for more detail onto the Sales is King on iTunes and or on Anchor. And also please give us a rating and or a review, because that's how we get a little more exposure on the iTunes roster. So key things. Number one, your online personality must be reflective of your offline personality. We've been talking about this quite a bit. Gary Vee came out recently and said, hey, it's okay to entertain online without selling. So kind of be yourself, be entertaining, share things that reflect who you are as a person. Because what that's going to do is it's going to deliver more trust. And trust, as we know, is the key number one thing that buyers are looking for when they're out there working with salespeople. It was the number one reason why buyers rejected salespeople last year, according to a USC study. So in your social selling, in your social presence, let it be active. Let it reflect your genuine, authentic, offline self. That's number one. Number two, we learned that the top wealthiest sellers spend the majority of their time prospecting. 45% of their time is done prospecting. They're not tied down in administrative hogwash. They're figuring out ways to kind of offload that or become more efficient, but they're focusing on out there reaching out to prospects. That's number two. Number three, within the accounts, these top sellers are upselling and cross-selling. They're figuring out how to exploit the accounts. And when I mean exploit, that doesn't mean get over on them. I mean get the most out of the account. Understand who these key areas are. Are there different divisions we're not calling on? Are there other stakeholders? The best sellers do that. In addition, they call on the right people. The best sellers, the wealthiest sellers, call on senior executives. They know how to connect with senior executives. They get right down to business, and they get bigger deals done. The next part of the checklist is take control of the process. We've been talking about this quite a bit. Everyone's saying buyers are in control. Sales are just sitting there with their noses pressed up against the window waiting for a phone call. I say that's total BS. You must take control back. And you do that by becoming a socially active person. You're on social media. You're all over the internet as far as what your solution does and the challenges you solve. So when the buyers go to research, your name is spread throughout your videos, your podcasts, your articles. So take back control is another key area. The next area is up your effort by 2x, 3x, 5x, even 10x or 20x. What's required today is vastly more than was required even 2 or 3 years ago. It's so difficult to get through. It's so difficult to get through the process that you need to put more time in. Next, follow-up, critical. Never leave a meeting without getting another meeting set up. Don't go back into the pool of emails and follow-ups and phone calls. Keep that momentum going. Keep the process going. The next point, consultative. You want to be a strategic partner. We've heard this from many of the experts. The deals that happen are when the buyers see the sellers as trusted advisors versus hard sellers. So get more consultative, get more prescriptive. We've been talking about that quite a bit, and we go over that in many of the episodes on Sales is King. The last part, the two last ones, sell with value. What does that mean? You must show the prospect what is in it for them. What will they solve? What challenge will they solve? How can you tie your solution back to a pain? What's in it for the buyer? When they feel like the seller knows the buyer's industry issues, pain points, greater percentage of deals closing. And the last one from the Challenger sale, deliver unique insights. One of the complaints that buyers have today is that they do so much research online. When they do engage a salesperson, it sounds like a repeat episode of a program they've already seen. It's the same stuff regurgitated. So have interesting, unique insights that you can share that's not going to be found anywhere else, which will immediately give you a leg up over the competition. So that's the checklist. We go into more detail on the program. Check it out. The next one we did over the weekend was titled A New Essential Skill That Salespeople Need to Have. And we'll go into much more depth on the podcast, but the skill is managing the risk, talking about risk. And this sounds like, why do I want to talk about risk? Isn't that kind of an area that's going to put me potentially in danger of losing the deal? Absolutely not. Risk is one of the key things that buyers wrestle with today to make a decision. If you're going to make a multi-million-dollar decision, there's going to be some risk involved. Certainly the risk of potentially losing your job. One of the things that the buyers said in the recent study, in the USC study, said that they didn't feel that the sellers understood the risk that the buyer was taking. So understand the risk. And one of the ways that you can understand the risk is actually turning the tables, showing the buyer that there's actually risk in not moving forward with your solution. Show him the risk of standing pat, the risk of the status quo. Those salespeople that can demonstrate the risk of not moving forward are going to be better off. So check out both of the podcasts and look forward to seeing you out there on the next show. And have a great night, guys. Thank you.